All right. Good afternoon. Well, it is for me. I think it's evening for most people. I did promise some extra streams this week, and there is a lingering question in my mind from last night's stream, and that is in relation to the body cam footage and where is it? Now, there are two different narratives on this, of course, one from Nick and one from Null, Josh Moon of the Kiwi Farms, and this might surprise you. This might surprise you, but I do something very silly, and that is called I like to read my YouTube comments. And a very interesting comment did come in. Let me see. Where was it? Oh, shit, I just had it, and it's gone. All right. Amy sent in, Minnesota body cam footage is private unless it deals with someone that discharged a weapon. If it is presented in the trial, it can be public per Minnesota law. And then they linked this article to, well, I guess it's not the article. It's the Department of Administration data practices from the state of Minnesota. So we're going to review this today. We're first going to look at the two different statements, and primarily this was prompted by the clip from Chrissy Mayer's stream last night, where Nick says that if you thought the body cam footage was coming out, then you've been lied to. And we actually have Null's response to this as well. He's flat out lying to you, lying to your face. So the question is, who's telling the truth? I do have a poll going up in the chat, and it's so far very much in favor of Null, which I think is going to be the actual, the main opinion, right? But as I said, I do read my YouTube comments, which is sometimes a mistake. And here's why. Here's why it's a mistake. This is the choice comment I got last night, which I thought would be a little bit funny. What the fuck? Your arrogance and self-righteous BS. Chrissy Meyer has done something wrong? You're just as bad as Nick. Wow, what a POS. Now, I'm not sure what I said that Chrissy Meyer did wrong, except for she's guilty of suggesting that Nick does stand-up comedy. And that deserves a life sentence. So she should be put away for that. I think my streams are not quite in the same league as giving coke to kids, but okay, I don't know. I guess you can make your own judgments. There was also another very good comment, actually, a very, very choice comment, I thought, because I do have problems with the saying Candy Yohi, but that's no longer a problem because this commenter has told me Candy-O high is pronounced Candy-O high. If you have trouble remembering it, just remember you would have to be high to believe anything Nick says. And I am very much a mnemonic learner, so that'll actually be very helpful for me. So I won't get it wrong anymore. I promise. I promise. No, we don't have the body cam. We don't have. I'll make that statement now in case anyone gets angry. I don't have the body cam. Tonight we're looking at if we're going to get the body cam and what is the actual law on the case. I might actually reach out for some legal expertise as well, because I do have a question about one of these rules. But first, what did Nick say about the body cam on the Chrissy Meyer stream? Let's take a look. To a bit of a refresher. Well, actually, let me unmute it first before anyone says so.
Nick, if there are issues with the warrant, why not sign the release for the body cam footage? Nothing but love to Chrissy.
People have a misunderstanding about the body cam footage and a release. I haven't seen a release for the body cam footage. The body cam footage right now.
All right, so sign a release. This is one of the questions we're going to be asking. Do you get presented a release to sign for the body cam footage? I don't think so. This seems like misframing the entire conversation and to make it sound like it's ridiculous, because no one's going to present you a little sign to say, oh, would you consent to send this out? No, it's something that you do consent to. You can do of your own volition. I think that's the statement that Josh has made. But like I said, we're going to go check the letter of the law once we get through this stuff. I'm not a legal expert. I'm not a lawyer, but that doesn't mean I can't read, although some people disagree with that, actually. So
I believe is considered confidential information as it's part of an investigation. And so under the Minnesota Government Data Practices Act, a body cam footage cannot be released even to me.
I don't believe this statement, and this sounded wrong from the very beginning, because if the body cam footage is part of discovery, surely he has a legal right to access that. Now, when he says, there's a bit of an interesting thing here. Hold on.
The Government Data Practices Act, a body cam footage cannot be.
Oh, wait, I'm going to go back about another 20 seconds. Hold on a second. Oops, sorry, that was me.
Is considered confidential information as it's part of an investigation.
All right. So is the information considered confidential for an ongoing investigation? And that actually does come up in the data practices. So that's one of the other questions we're going to be asking is this considered ongoing? And that might sound like a stupid question, but if they've already collected the data and they've already submitted their data into discovery, is that ongoing or is it just now an exhibit? That is an actual thing I would like a legal professional to comment on.
And so under the Minnesota Government Data Practices Act, body cam footage cannot be released even to me, except as part of discovery. So there isn't like a go sign a release. Like I don't have the ability to.
So Nick makes a definitive statement. There is no release to sign, or you can't just go sign a release. You can't just sign a release. There'll be a lot of typing this stream because I'm doing a bit of a deep dive. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different of the stream, but be sure to like the stream. It's much appreciated if you would do that.
Authorize the release of the body cam footage, nor does anybody else involved in it at this time. That would be when it moves from confidential information to private information. I believe then, I'm not an expert in this area of law. I've never had to deal with it, but I believe at that point, people could sign releases and have it released. If someone was told that they were going to get access to the body cam footage prior to that occurring, they were probably not told the truth.
All right, so let's see another statement. Josh was not told the truth. Josh was not told the truth. Now, I really don't think that is the case, or someone in the office really fucked up, because if they're accepting money for this, because they do need money to pay for the blurring of any minors in said video. My understanding is there is 9 officers, 2 hours each, 18 hours of content to go through. That takes a long time, especially for if you're just like a low-paid IT clerk in a Candy High office or whatever.
But there's not like, the state has not sent me a thing like sign this to like release the body cam footage. They've never asked me. It's never been brought up to me in any sort of way. So people have this idea. It's like, oh, Nick, just go sign the release. Like, well, like what release? Sorry, like legitimately, I think people may have misread the statute on how this works. But
release?
But I don't know. I haven't read the statute either. But no one's presented me with the opportunity to do so.
Uncivil Law in the chat, he says, and even if it comes, well, I guess there's a 2-part sentence, right? Or let's see. Okay. It could be attorney's eyes only until the trial, or it could be only viewed in a government center. Some states do very weird discovery. And then the followed up with, and even if it comes to discovery, it might come along with a protective order prohibiting redisclosure outside of the trial. Now, there was a request from Nick's lawyers to make all of the information private in this case because he's a person of interest. Hundreds of thousands of people are watching him. And the judge denied this. So I would assume that the judge would continue to deny this order. But I'm kind of working under the assumption that if Nick wins the omnibus hearing, and I'm not sure the exact date, it's in August. But if Nick wins the omnibus hearing, I believe he would petition again to have it suppressed, and then it would come down to the judge in that order. But like I said, the state may have already accepted money to begin the blurring process and release it to Josh Moon.
Nick, okay. If there are issues with the warrant.
Oops, sorry. So there we go, that statement. Now, this was 3 weeks ago. Because people have been wanting this since May. So Null in the Kiwi Farms 3 weeks ago, he was saying, we are still waiting. Well, this is the message that was sent. So he asked his lawyer, who is in contact with the Candy High officers, he said, where's the body, or where's all the data? Because it's not just the body cam footage, there's photos, recordings, all sorts of other things that have been requested. And I believe the sum of about $6,000 was raised for that. So the message from them, this being Candy High, says, we are still waiting for our IT to compile and transfer information to a thumb drive. We will send it as soon as it has been completed. Thank you and have a great 4th of July. And that was the body cam footage update, the last known body cam footage update that we have. So this would imply, unless Josh Moon is straight out lying, which I don't think is the case, like Null doesn't really have a lot of incentive to lie about this. He's accepted money for it. He's engaged a legal professional to, chase this up. I believe he has started a change.org petition to have the trial live stream, which has got about 2,500 signatures. And I think there was something in the number of 10 affidavits signed by various legal professionals, some you may know actually, to, again, make this all open and a matter of interest to the public. So what is his incentive to lie about this? I ask you. All right. We'll go to the Matty stream. So this was from July 5th, just after this post, I believe. So we're going to jump around a little bit in the time. We also have some more comments from Nick. And then there's something from potentially Sean here as well that we might check out after we go through the document. So we'll start here. What does Josh say on this matter?
Nick Rekieta ain't up to too much. However, MN Public Records did scan more documents, and this time it is Rekieta's attorney in the criminal matter, so this is not Randazza, has filed a request to
So Randazza is the one that he's got handling the Montagraph case, which is the defamation.
prompt the judge to seal all juvenile-related material.
Potentially criminal said the body cam footage has been released. Is that true? Did that just happen right now? Don't think so. I think if that was the case, it would have been sent to me already. People are very, very interested in this case. If it's been released already, I think, or if you mean released to Nick, then sure, maybe that happened. But I don't think it has been released at all. I think that is a misunderstanding of that statement.
From the public record. This is an interesting filing because it's not usually something you file for. As I said, the statute allows the judge to decide on his own that he's going to file the records. So they request that all the juvenile records be sealed. The prosecution doesn't even say, like, okay, we're going to contest this. And then the judge says, number one, you cited the wrong statute for this. And number two, no.
So the judge is giving Nick's lawyer a see me after class, do better, or apply yourself on their legal filing.
So that's not happening. I wonder why. I wonder if the judges in this case are profusely fucking irritated by this loudmouth and his constant blathering on social media. Isn't that interesting? So after this leaked out, there was something the court, the prosecuting party, put out all these disclosures regarding information that they had. So this is Kristen Pierce, the first assistant Candido County attorney, filed basically their disclosures about what evidence they have. And one of the things that was interesting that immediately caught attention was, and by the way, this has like a lot of stuff. There's medical records. There's
Okay, so I'm going to skip forward a little bit because this is when he's talking about the previous CPS cases, which weren't actually related to Nick. They were related to 2 children that were in their foster care, I believe, in 2000
the
and
transition
2009,
form for
perhaps.
going into custody.
So
It says child protection.
Yeah, we don't need to know
already
about
talked
that.
about. That doesn't line up with the arrest. That's weird. So there's all sorts of rampant and baseless speculation, as there is when these things come out. This is just the highlight of the things that I already talked about. I then received an emergency press release from the office of the Baldo General.
So this is kind of, we mentioned this before, but this is just evidence of when Nick says he's not busy watching all the streams or reading his Kiwi Farms threads. As soon as this was posted to the farms, he's DM'd Nick. He DM'd Null straight away. So it's just a flat out lie. If he says that he's like, well, I'm too busy to, no, he's spending a lot of his time, practically all of his time, it seems like, getting live updates from his own case. I mean, since they seem to get data before he gets it, which is, I guess, very funny, but perhaps improper. Why wouldn't he, right?
Which addresses people in a royal you all kind of way, even though it was sent directly to me. So I don't know if this is a message sent to like a bunch of people he doesn't like at this point. But he says, and now with the way that this is worded, it really reminds me of how PPP does like his Baldo court voice, where he tries to act like a royal, like a monarch issuing edicts and stuff. He says, since you all are retarded and don't have any way to know, the 2000 case is not ours. We were foster parents for that placement. We have to stop fostering due to pregnancy complications with our second child. All CPS cases prior to the arrest date of 5/23, of which there are only 2, were screened as not sufficient and ignored because there was no actual basis for them. I think he's implying that the one in 2023 was a log that was trolling him with CPS, and then the one in 2009 was a related foster care parenting case that just so his name happens to be on because he had to return a child to the foster care system because his wife had issues, which, to be fair, could be very plausible. This was a much different Rekieta in 2009. The 2023
Yeah,
one,
there was a lot of swattings that would happen around those days. I remember quite a few of them actually.
it's just his word. Obviously, he's at liberty to open up all these records whenever he pleases to. He could consent to the body cam footage right now to expedite things.
All right, so Null has made a definitive statement here. Again, I'm just taking a lot of notes during this. Nick can consent to it immediately. Now, this might be a confusion that is from Josh's lawyer or not. Like I said, we're going to check the data itself, or not the data, but the statute itself in a second. But it is entirely possible that Josh's lawyer maybe has a misunderstanding of this based on him being in a different area. I think Josh's lawyer is in Florida, but you can correct me on that. I think that it's probably fairly accurate, though. I think he does have the ability to disclose it if he so wants to. Taking notes in stream is very Destiny-esque. This is a fact-finding mission, okay? We're trying to actually get to the bottom of a question that is, I think, very important to many people, especially if you gave money to get this said bodycam footage released. You know, you want to see your investment pay out.
But he's choosing not to, and instead choosing to deflect based off a one-sided story as we await the actual prosecution. RagePig posted this clip, and I want to play it.
Oh, Kiwi Bros. I don't feel so good, Kiwi Bros.
This was after the appeals case came in Greer's favor.
I should save this clip, by the way. That might be very useful to have, like on a soundboard.
Last year, just wondering. And I did actually get I asked my attorney to nudge the Kandiyohi County for an update, and they did reply with an update that says, "We are still waiting for our IT to compile and transfer information to a thumb drive. We will send as soon as they have completed it. Thank you and have a great 4th of July from the Kandiyohi County Sheriff Record Supervisor." This means that they're still working on the actual footage because they're going to have to redact information. Basically, the IT slave is going to have to go through and blur out like anything sensitive on apparently tens of hours of body cam footage.
Yeah, so there's 9, like as I said a bit earlier in the stream, there's 9 officers, 2 hours on body cam each, and they have to blur out 5 different children that could be in, well, even when they arrested Nick in the car, and I had a quick read through this before he started, and dash cam footage may not be included based on what I've read, but the body cam of the officer that got out of the car and talked to Nick should be included, and I would assume it would be. But like I said, there was 1 child in the car with Nick at the time and 4 kids at the house, so it's going to be a lot of work to get that released. And nobody wants to see the kids' faces except perhaps Barnes, because he's accused basically everybody that is a detractor of Nick of being a map. And as Barnes always says, you know, confession by projection. So I mean, what is he hiding? The Swiss mercenary lawyer. But like I said, if it comes out without the redaction of the kids' faces, then I'd do that myself. As a video editor, I do know how to do that. It's pretty easy, but it's very time-consuming depending on what blurs you use.
So
put a smiley face, like tracking them, it's pretty easy. But then like a Gaussian blur kind of takes a lot of resources in their things.
As soon as that's done, they're going to transfer that information to a thumb drive and then send it to us. Well, we're going to have to pay them once they have it ready. But then once they're paid, they're going to send it to us on a thumb drive. That will be going to Hardin's mail office.
So Hardin is Josh's lawyer. I'm assuming, is Josh's lawyer in Florida, right? I'm almost certain he's in Florida because Josh is a Florida boy.
Because if it's like tens of hours of footage, I'm going to upload that all directly to Rumble. And since it was paid for by everybody, I'm just going to...
There you go. We figured out the answer where the body cam footage is. He has to upload it to Rumble, so it's going to take another 6 months because Rumble's such a POS site.
Not watermark it or anything.
Oh dear.
And maybe I should, just because I'm putting in all this effort. Should I?
No, I know Josh is in Eastern Europe, but his lawyer isn't in Serbia or some shit. He has an American lawyer that works for him stateside and covers all of the Kiwi Farms, like LOL suits and things. So they're going to mail the thumb drive with all the data. So it has to go through the mail. That's going to take time. Although it could be in the mail right now, we don't know. And then his lawyer is going to have to upload it. So depending on how tech literate his lawyer is, I think the best way to do it, honestly, like for real, the easiest way to distribute these sort of files would be to upload them to YouTube as an unlisted video, because YouTube does just have the best processing, upload speeds, and accessibility to anyone. And then if you want to re-upload them to the Kiwi Farms Rumble account, sure, you could do that. But like, if you actually want to get this out as fast as possible, just use unlisted YouTube videos. They're very useful for sharing projects, faster than Google Drive even. Like when I've been working on video projects, I just use unlisted YouTube videos because it saves you so much time and money to just use something that is a free service. And you know, for all the grief that people give YouTube, it is a very stable, very good website. They just have some bad moderation policies.
I don't like watermarks in general, but now that it's me that could benefit from it, I'm kind of tempted, chat. I'll have to think about it. It would be easier, I think, just to upload it raw, because then I don't have to re-encode it, and I don't have to upload it myself, because right now my upload speed is still terrible. Whereas if I can like remote upload it from like a computer in Hardin's commercial office building, like directly to Rumble, it would be much, much, much faster, but like an order of magnitude. We'll think about it. I won't watermark it as aggressively.
All right. My internet might be dipping out. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. I'll keep going as if everything is fine since the chat's still moving. So Nick made 2 other statements of the body cam footage. Once, let's see which one. I guess we'll go in order of time. So we'll go to his first. No, maybe this wasn't his first local stream, but this is 2 minutes clip, and then we have a 1 minute clip from Camelot stream, I guess with Zia Land, who I think is an OF model. Just sort of throw that in there, but let's see. So this is from the original local stream on RekietaLaw in his kitchen. The body cam footage and prior speeding tickets. 2 minutes. Let's take a look.
Nick's BF Johnny. Release the body cam footage. Wonder if we can get that trending. I mean, you can try. I don't.
So first of all, if Nick makes a statement, nobody has asked me for the body cam footage, this is actually just proof that somebody has asked him. Now, of course, this is just a chatter on an internet website, but the statement that nobody has asked him is just flat out false straight away. Now, has he seemed to document it? No, of course he hasn't. But people have asked for this. So make no mistakes there.
Have it. I don't know what.
Is he wearing the swinger ring in this video? Let's see. I saw his hand briefly. Hold on. Gonna go back frame by frame. He's got the silver ring. I don't see the swinger ring.
I don't know what people want to see in the body cam footage.
They want to see your dirty house, and they want to play. Well, I can show exactly what they want to see because we actually have a bingo card set up for it. This is true, by the way. It exists. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? It's in my folder somewhere. I've got it all saved, but I'm not sure where. This is what people want to see in the Rekieta body footage. They want to play the bingo game. Clean your room is the free space. They want to see the cat. They want to see the degenerate toys. They want to see the cops being disgusted. They want to see the baldo and or hot wife cuffed to the bed. They want to see bottles clink, 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 clink. They want to see... I'm trying to keep this a PG stream. They want to see paraphernalia of some illicit substances. Takeaway packages discarded. Guna stream den. Religious paraphernalia. Unwashed dishes. They want to see the pupper. Yes, we did actually see the pupper. It is alive and living in its bathroom life. Living its worst life. Locked up in the Rekieta bathroom. They want to see the baldo seethe at the pigs. That should be on the camera. That should be on the body cam footage because when they hand him the search warrant, he throws on the ground and says it's bullshit. So that should be on the tapes. They want to see the Law Pope Mustang. This one I can get. Well, actually, I guess this could be in the driveway, but I don't think you'll see this because he was arrested in the Navigator. The butter dish, that's like a meme that I don't know about. Lingerie for men and women. Firearms. Dumb books. Warhammer figurines. Jamaica merch. Baldo. There's a lot of Baldo ones here. There's almost no chance of the Baldo showing up. But it would be so funny if it did. They want to see the tripod. Dirty laundry. And the Segs dungeon, which doesn't exist because they couldn't get a builder to build it. All right, that's what people want to see. They just want to see how degenerate it is, really.
I don't even know what the state will release in regards to the body cam footage. Because if you're talking about the body cam footage of my arrest, there's not a ton, I would think, of my arrest. I think people are conflating the body cam footage of my arrest with the body cam footage of the search of my property.
I think they want to see both, and I think that is included. At least that is what the implication was. So the arrest isn't actually going to be that interesting. It'll be them pulling over his car, getting out of the car, and like saying, "Hey, knock on the window, tap, tap, tap. Hey, can we have the code to your door? No, okay, let's go back to the property." That's probably going to be the extent of the actual arrest that you'll see on camera. Now, is he going to seethe and rage during it? Maybe that could be entertaining, but the bulk of the content will be obviously on the search of the house.
And I'm not sure what the state would be releasing. Like, I don't know what their planned release is or what footage they have. I don't know if they'd release the search. I don't know if they'd release just the arrest footage. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. So I'm not sure what people want to see there. But
I mean, I just told you, but okay.
You know, that's that. You think I'll be blitzed in the footage? Well, considering I was driving and not charged with DUI, I guess seems unlikely. Heard I was driving a whole 80 miles per hour.
So he's saying there's a chance. Interesting.
As said by some nerds. What, when the rain, I was at a stop sign, just sitting there. The 80 mile an hour speeding ticket was from a while back. Man,
All right,
not
there's some speeding ticket cope that I'm not too interested in. All right, last one, and then we go through the files, and then we get into the heavy homework, really. So this is from Camelot's stream 3 weeks ago. The Breaking Baldo body cam footage. No one's asked. Read the government.
I've been meaning to ask, and I keep forgetting.
Oops, sorry. I was previewing this on 2x speed to try and prepare for this.
I've been meaning to ask, and I keep forgetting. How does this body cam footage thing play out? Does it come out? Like, how does that work? I see people talking about it all the time.
It's really fucking muddy, and the answer is I don't really know.
Okay.
It's not so clear because the laws that control it cover basically the release of sensitive information. Everybody's like, just sign a release for it. It's like, no one's even asked me.
Well, the chat, this is just flat out false. People have asked, but they're just random in people on the internet. But Nick likes to throw this out quite a bit, where it's like, well, if someone would just come and talk to me, this could have been all avoided. Like, but you're not actually going to accept these random people from the internet. If they come into your house, right, you're going to shoot them or something. Or at least that's the implication. You're going to treat them like your doorbell is loaded, or it reloads, or whatever the statement was. So it was very easy to make these sort of statements. Well, if anyone had just asked me, people have asked, but they're random people on the internet. So why would you respond to them? But it's an easy way to deflect criticism.
Like the government hasn't come out and said, Mr. Rekieta, are you okay with releasing? Will you sign a release for it? No one's like offered that up. So they're like, just do this. It's like, well,
I'm not sure why the government would ever propose this to anyone. It's not that it's presented to him and he is asked to either sign it or not. It's that he has the ability to do so. At least that's what the Protection Data Act seems to imply.
no, for one. And two, like, it's not that simple because there's a law governing the usage of this stuff and the distribution of it. And, that law will be complied with or not complied with by the state. Like that's up to them. But everybody, this is the thing. I mean, I saw it in chat earlier. It's similar thing to before. They're like, just show them, if you want your kids back, just show them your clean test. It's like, it doesn't work that way, homie. Like there isn't a thing where you just show them and it ends. Like
it's a bit of an update for this one, actually, because this happened obviously 3 weeks ago, but we did mention this last night, but I feel like it warrants being mentioned again. Nick has talked about all of his clean drug tests, and these clean drug tests specifically are urine tests that happened about a week after he's arrested, which is plenty of time for it to flush through your body. Like cocaine will only show up in these sort of P tests. It's like 2 or 3 days after. Now, his lawyer suggested that he take a hair follicle test, which he did do. And this was supposed to be confidential, product of the work, body of the, I'm not sure exactly what the exact wording was, but product of the work, produce or whatever of the lawyer. So that should have been confidential. And that apparently was leaked to the CPS peoples, which is actually shouldn't have happened and is very unfortunate. But they have requested that is to be redacted from anything. So it seems like a bit of a blunder there on his lawyer's part, or who knows? But that actually does seem like one injustice that was done. That should have been confidential. But that hair follicle test is almost certainly not clean because these tests can detect drugs in the system for up to 90 days. So the idea that every test is clean is just false. But the ones that he submitted to the government, specifically the urine tests, are clean. So that's just a little bit of clarification for there. It's
not how the government operates, man. Like, and I hope you never have to find that out personally, but there is no, oh, just do the thing. Like that's not real. So as far as how the body cam footage works, I don't know. Frankly, that's like so far down my list of concerns right now. Is the body cam footage. I mean, I'm very curious about the body cam footage. I need to see what's on it, obviously, because what's on it.
Because he couldn't remember because he's too high. No, just kidding.
It will have an impact in my case, and there could be a lot of interesting stuff on there. But aside for as for distribution to the public, I mean, I don't know. That's not my area of law.
Okay. So with that said, now let's take a look for ourselves. This is from the Department of Administration of Data Practices, State of Minnesota, regarding body cam data. Minnesota Statute Sections 13.825 classifies portable recording system data, body-worn data, created and maintained by law-efficient enforcement agencies. Note, the Commissioner of Administration does not have the responsibility for reviewing body cam data audits. See audit section below. Police-worn body camera data. Classification, access, and retention. Body cam data is generally private/non-public, except when the data are active criminal investigative data. So what I assume this to mean, and again, I'm not a legal professional or anything, this is just my own opinion of everything, but to me, this sounds like if the police have body cam footage and nothing goes wrong, you're not allowed to see it. Now, this is a product, is data regarded to a criminal investigation. So that means that this does not apply. Active criminal investigative body cam data are confidential / protected, non-public. So this is what I think Nick is implying, is that because this is an ongoing investigation, it is currently listed as confidential, protected, non-public. So if this is true, and this is the reading of the statute, then he would be correct in saying he can't release it yet. Body cam data presented as evidence in court are public. So if the body cam goes to his trial date, and I'm not sure if that comes up in the omnibus hearing or not, that might just be in regards to the warrant. If it is presented in court, then it becomes public, which means he can share it. Body cam data that document an incident when an individual dies as a result of use of force by a peace officer are public no later than 18 days after the incident. So obviously this does not apply because nobody died on the camera, but this seems like it's in there to make sure that the public can review if cops are just going out there and straight up shooting people. Right, so moving on. If an individual dies as a result of use of force by a peace officer, the officer's law enforcement agency must allow certain individuals upon request to inspect all body cam data within 5 days of the request. Individuals who may request and inspect the data within 5 days include the deceased individual's next of kin, legal representative of the deceased individual, and other parent of deceased individual. So again, does not apply. After an investigation is complete, body cam data are public if they document an incident where an officer discharges a weapon in the course of duty, not including training or killing an animal. And the data must be retained for up to 1 year. Again, nobody died here, so this will not apply. After an investigation is complete, body cam data are public if the recording documents use the force, Body cam data are public if the recording documents the use of force by a peace officer that results in substantial bodily harm, and the data must be retained for 1 year. So again, nobody was harmed here, so this will not apply. Body cam data that document a peace officer's use of deadly force must be maintained indefinitely. Body cam data that are not active or inactive criminal investigations data must be retained for at least 90 days. Body cam data that are public personal data under section 13.43, subdivision 2, or a subparagraph, I don't know what that is actually, remain public. Whether law enforcement use the body cam and or portable recording systems is public in the context of arrest data and responsible or incident data. Body cam data subjects. Subjects of the data, i.e. persons recorded in the footage, so anyone who is recorded on the body cam footage, including peace officers, so any of the officers that were present, have access to private / non-public data and may request to have the data made public. Interesting. This is exactly what Josh Moon said on his stream, that any of the cops or any of the individuals could request to have the data released to the public. This is, so far, it looks like Josh has been telling exactly the truth. Now, this does conflict slightly with one of the statements we saw, which I believe was the second clause. So have access to private / non-public data. So if it is considered an active criminal investigative body cam data, that's confidential. So confidential would trump the private / non-public data. So if this is considered active criminal investigation, it may still be confidential and may not be released. Now, if the investigation has concluded and the data has been submitted to evidence, that may be switching it from confidential to then private / non-public, which I would assume it is. This is my assumption at this moment, is that since it has been listed as evidence in the discovery disclosure by the state, this should be available to Nick's lawyer and thus be listed as private non-public data. But I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure on this one. This is, I guess you'd need a really specialized lawyer that works with Minnesota litigation to tell you the truth about this statement. But this is the most interesting one we've seen so far. When a data subject requests that private data be made public, law enforcement must redact identities of non-consenting data subjects and other undercover officers. Now, there were no undercover officers, but I would assume that non-consenting data subjects, that would include, well, so if Nick, basically what this means to me is that if Nick submits to the court that he wants to make this public and April doesn't consent, Kayla doesn't consent, the children probably do not have the ability to consent for this, so they would be automatically blurred, I would assume. But that means that they're going to have to go through and blur the faces of minors and non-consenting individuals, which seems to make sense. And that may be taking more time. At first, we were just thinking it would be the blurring of 5 faces, the 5 children. But it makes sense that Nick would not consent to this, that Kayla would not consent to this, and what's the other one's name? April. April not consent. So they may actually be blurring not only the 5 children, but the 3 faces of Nick, Kayla, and April, and then perhaps the not undercover, sorry, but perhaps the officers as well. I would assume the officers probably won't be blurred, but I'm not entirely sure there. But that is what this is actually in line with what the officers have said. The Candy Ojai County has said. Data sharing. Section 13.825 limits the sharing of non-public data cam between law enforcement agencies and requires agencies that use body cams to arrange for an independent biannual audit to ensure compliance. So this is between different agencies, not related to civilians, I believe. Law enforcement agencies may release any non-public cam data to any person, agency, or public if the law enforcement agency determines that releasing the data would aid law enforcement, promote public safety, or dispel rumor or unrest. Sorry, so they can release the body cam footage of, say, George Floyd, if they think that it'll stop people from rioting the streets, which would that never happened. The writings happened, right? Public comment. Section 6.8473 requires a law enforcement agency to allow for public comment and create written policies and procedures before it purchases body cams or implements a body cam program. Such policies and procedures may be in place must be in place by January 15th, 2017. Let me think about this for a second. Let's see. Law enforcement agencies to allow for public comment and create written policies and procedures. Okay, so this is just amending the policy. It's not about requesting data. Audits. Law enforcement agencies that use body-worn cameras are required to conduct biannual independent audits of the data to determine that data are appropriately classified according to this section, how the data are used, and whether the data are destroyed as required to under this section, and to verify compliance within the law. Law enforcement must forward a report summarizing the result of the audit to the governing body within the jurisdiction and to the Legislative Commission on Data Practices. Other. Body cams must be worn at or above midline of the waist in a position that maximizes to record the system's capacity to record footage. So no shoe cams that can look up people's skirts. It has to be above the waist. That's good to know. There's also an FAQ. So let's see what the facts are. Do the same classifications and requirements in Minnesota statutes section 13.825 apply to other video that law enforcement agencies may maintain, such as squad video camera? So this is on the cars, not necessarily on the bodies. No. Section 13.825 applies to only data recorded by portable recording system, defined as a device worn by a peace officer that is capable of both recording and audio and video of the officer's activities and interactions with others, or collecting digital multimedia evidence as part of an investigation. Other video data maintained by law enforcement will be classified by Minnesota statutes section 13.82, unless the video is from a drone, which is classified under a different statute. So this means that it is unlikely that we'll get the dash cam of the patrol cars as they pull up to the house, or as they, drive towards the Baldo-mobile and pull them over. But it should still include the data from the officer that was driving that car. The law states that the identity and activities of a non-duty officer engaged in law enforcement activities may not be redacted from a body cam video. Does this include undercover officers? No. The law specifically states that undercover officers must be redacted in any body cam video provided to a data subject or the public. Can I have access to a body cam video where I appear in the video? Oh, here we go. This is going to be a good one. This may answer exactly what we want to know. When an investigation is inactive and an individual whose image or voice appears on a body cam is a data subject and can inspect, i.e. view, the unredacted data, including access to other individuals and peace officers who appear in the data with the requester. So that means that any of the individuals there, Nick or the officers, or I suppose the children, when they come of age, may go and view this anytime they want once it is inactive. Now, is the investigation ongoing? That's a question we don't know. But I would assume that it's at least until August, probably. Data subjects can also request a copy of body cam footage where they are seen or heard. They are entitled to the data where they are the data subject, with other subjects except on-duty peace officers redacted. Data subjects can also request that the video be made accessible to the public. Oh, interesting. As long as other data subjects, not including the on-duty peace officers engaged in the investigation or response, give consent or are redacted from the video. So Nick can sign something and say, I want this to be made public when it becomes the subject of an inactive investigation. So that kind of contradicts these statements, I believe. He says that there's no way he could do that. Apparently there is, just maybe not yet. A law enforcement agency must always redact undercover officers before providing data subjects with a copy of their body cam data. I don't think this will apply because there is no undercover agents in this investigation, as far as I know. In fact, they're all listed, including Officer Moist Critical. If the body cam data are part of an active criminal investigation, data subjects may not access the data until the investigation is inactive. So this may be what Nick is referring to. Interesting. A law enforcement agency received a data request for a copy of a body cam video from a data subject who appears in only a small portion of the longer recording. Does the agency need to provide the full video with the applicable redactions, or can they provide only the portions where the subject appears? Law enforcement agencies should only provide the data subject with the portions of the footage where the subject can be seen or heard. Minnesota statute sections 13.825 classifies data and not full videos. Most inactive body cam data are classified as private, and individuals are permitted to access private data about themselves. As a result, only the data in the video that may have the image or voice of the individuals are private data on the subject and available to them, not the full video. So what this means is that, like, say there was a drug bust in the park and you were going for a jog at the time, you're not entitled to the entire drug bust video. You're only entitled to the part where you jog through the frame, is what I read that to be. Can a law enforcement officer agency share body cam data with another law enforcement office? Under Minnesota statute, section 13.825, subdivision 8, a law enforcement agency may share body camera data with another state or local law enforcement agency if the following agency's internal written procedures for data access required under subdivision 13.825 subdivision 7. These written procedures must ensure that access to private body cam data is authorized in writing and that sharing is for a legitimate, specific law enforcement purposes. So this doesn't apply. There you go. That is what it says. That is what it says. So what conclusions can we draw from this? Yes, if you're chatting and if you're in chat, you should be subbed, because I set these streams onto subscriber mode. Just 1 minute though, because there's a lot of detractors that are still washing bulldoze in their free time. So what are we thinking, chat? What does this mean? What does this mean? We're going to go through it again, but in a different way. All right. Let me see. I'll stop this poll. And I'm going to start a new poll for the chat. And then I'm going to get another glass of water because my mouth is very dry. It's hot over here. Detractors, not so much of me, but detractors of anyone critical of the Baldo bunker cabal. Let me see. Will we get BodyCam? Yes. No. There we go. We'll start a quick poll. I'll be right back. I'm just going to go fill up my glass of water, and then I'm going to go through this and see how this, what actually applies, since I have a better understanding of it now. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Do I have something to play for you while I am gone? Let me see. Let me see. What do we have actually? I need to update my clips. There's a 16 seconds one. All right, we'll play this one.
He also got some great lawyers. He got some great lawyers in there. Let's see. Meme Copium. That's a good lawyer. That he got in there. Cool Frog. Madcore Mofo.
All righty. I am Echo. That's StreamYard's fault. Like, if you don't mute your desktop and you play a video, it plays it twice. I apologize. It is StreamYard's fault, not mine. Although I should be smart enough to know what StreamYard does by now. So it's on me. All right, so I have my water, and there we go. Let's have a look at this. We're going to go through this. Take another look. Where's my Where's my nut? Let's get a nice brush size, shall we? And we will. There we go. That should be good. That's a little bit too thick, actually. No. That'll. Getting too picky. It doesn't really matter, does it? Now I want to find a good one. That'll do. Okay. All right. So, body cam data are generally private / non-public, except when the data is an active criminal investigation. So I would read this to be a positive to getting the body cam footage. We'll use green for yes, it's going to be released. Because this data is, I'll see if I zoom that in. It's a bit, can I make this a bit more? Or, let me see. Let me resize this so we can get a bit of it's a little bit small, isn't it, on the screen? There we go. That'll do. I think that'll do. No, damn it. Is there no halfway point? Oh well. You're just gonna have to suffer, chat. I think. No, I'll zoom it in like that. There we go. Just part of it will be truncated by the side. All right. Active criminal investigative body cam data are confidential and protected / non-public. So that means that if this is considered active, then Nick has a point in what he's saying. Because if the investigation is active, then it is confidential / non-public, which means we cannot access it. Is the investigation still active, though? Or have they collected everything they want and they're just waiting for their trial date? There's basically 1 to Null, 1 to Nick so far on this one. Body cam data presented as evidence in court are public. Oh, no. This means that we will get the body cam footage, provided it is not sealed by the court. The judge may have a say in that. But since this is going to come out in court, I would assume, unless he does win the Hail Mary and the omnibus hearing, but this would suggest that it is going to come out. It's just a matter of time only. Let me see. I need a better thing than paint, but paint is so good. Let me see. This is the one where they use deadly force. Yeah, that's not applicable. Not applicable. Individual dies, not applicable. After an investigation is complete, body cam data are public if the officer discharges a weapon. So the commenter that sent the original chat in said that body cam footage is private unless it deals with a weapon that is discharged. That's not the case. That's not true. So the person that sent in this data was, thank you for sending it in, but they're not correct in that assumption. An investigation is complete. After investigation is complete, body cam data are public if the recordings document the use of force by peace officers that result in substantial bodily harm. That did not happen. They did break down the door, but that is not against our body, obviously, so that does not apply. Scribble that out. There we go. I need to get my drawing pad back. I used to have one. Body cam data that document peace officers' use of deadly force. Again, that is not applicable, but interesting that they keep records of they keep their live leak footage forever. Body cam data that are not active or inactive criminal data must be retained for at least 90 days. So that does actually help the case, but it's not necessarily applicable. So I will highlight this in green. But it's already been requested, so it doesn't matter. It's not going to be, and by the way, even though it says 90 days here, that doesn't mean 90 days from the, if you're counting 90 days from the arrest, which is what, May, was it March? No, it was May, right? May 23rd. That doesn't mean that you're going to get it in 90 days time. That just means that, they're going to keep all data basically until 90 days are up. But since this has already been a request, it does not apply. I just thought I'd mention that. Body cam data are public, public personal data under 13.43 remain public. So once they make it public, it's public. So it doesn't really apply, but it is a point towards the farms. So I'm just going to get rid of that one. It's not applicable, really. Whether law enforcement used a body cam or any other portable recording in public is the context of arrest data. And whether law enforcement used a body cam and or any portal is public in the okay. So did they use body cam footage? Yes, they did. So again, it's a point towards, but it doesn't really mean anything. So I'll just sort of cross it out with green. Body cam subjects. Subjects of the data, i.e. person recording the footage, including peace officers, have access to private non-public data and may request data and have the data be made to the public. Subjects. Nick Rekieta is a subject. April is a subject. Kalo is a subject. Including the peace officers themselves are subjects. So it is actually accurate what Josh Moon said, that if it is, once it moves from confidential to private, they can request it. Now, a police officer would never do this. There'd be no reason for a police officer to go out of there, like unless the police officer who is one of the subjects saw something that was like ridiculously like unethical, then they could. That's when they would apply this. But there is no chance of like Officer Moist Critical releasing the footage. So they could do it, which makes Josh's statement accurate, but that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But it is true that Nick can request to have the data made public. Although if Nick requests the data be made public, if Kayla does not consent and April does not consent, then their faces would be blurred out as well. For the children, I assume they're automatically blurred because they're all minors. But maybe it's possible that the parents could both consent to have it made public, but I don't think they would, and nobody wants to see it anyway, so it's just a non-issue. But when Nick says that he doesn't know how it works, he either didn't read it or he's just flat out lying. When a data subject requests that private data be made public, law enforcement must redact identities of non-consenting data, which is kind of just linked to that one, so we don't need to do anything with that one. Data sharing, again, this is only applicable to law enforcement agencies, which Nick is not. That'd be like the FBI asking for state trooper stuff or anything, so we don't need that. Law, let's see, public comment, that's not applicable to what we're talking about. Audits, that's not applicable, I think. Other, and that's not applicable either. There we go. There we go. So what this comes down to is, does the government consider this information part of an active investigation? This is like the most key phrase right here. I guess I don't have highlighters in Paint, do I? That's unfortunate. I'll try and do it better next time we do like a document review or something. But this is the key point here. Active criminal investigation. So what have we learned? What have we learned from this? Nick can consent to release the BodyCam footage, provided it is not considered active. But the courts have already said that they will release the documents, and that is currently in the process of being uploaded. So I wonder if there's a little bit of truth on the side of it not coming out, insofar as a court clerk may have made a mistake about how their ability to release the bodycam footage. Because I assume this is a very rare request from them. Because how often do people request bodycam footage from like a small county in Minnesota? Unless someone was shot, and then in cases where people are shot, it's a different law entirely. So maybe the clerk that was promising the footage is just used to people being shot. And it's just like, oh yeah, if someone must have been shot or something, I'll release it, whatever. And maybe they made a mistake. But this means, to me, this means the bodycam footage is coming out. It's just a matter of when. And it may be the case that if active criminal investigative body is up until the date of the trial, then that means that it's a countdown. That Nick's on a countdown until his first hearing, or when it is first presented in court, and then it's just made public. The money's already been raised. They've already agreed to accept payment for it. I assume the work has already been done or is close to completion. So it's just a matter of time. Unfortunately, this does not help us with a... well, I guess it does actually help us with a timeline. Ask Sean to all the highlighter tips. Well, I mean, he uses Adobe, right? Like, this isn't a document in Adobe. If I was using Adobe, I could highlight. But I didn't download this as a PDF or anything. But there you go. That basically answers the question. So it seems to me that this is what I think is going to happen. I think that Nick has received a plea deal, and that may include suppressing the footage. We don't know. But he has not accepted the plea deal, and he is hoping to win on the omnibus hearing. If he does not win the omnibus hearing, I would say 90% chance he takes the plea deal immediately, and then it may be sealed. And again, he may request to have it sealed again. He's already done the one request to make this sealed that was denied. Let me see if I still have that report here. Yes, I believe this is the one. So this is the court document. This is an old document. You've probably seen it before. But in the matter of the welfare of the wait, is this the right one? I believe it was. Hold on, let me get a quick look. Because this was the one that was denied. Yes, it was. But there is some relevant parts here. So I don't want to see the child part. I want to see the document part. Let's see. That wasn't there. Prohibiting access to. And I guess this does consider it actually. But there's a more interesting one. There's a more interesting one here. Let me just give me a check. I think this is not the one I was looking for. There's built-in highlighters on the tools. Well, if you guys have recommendations for built-in highlighters, be sure to send them through to me. But let's see. So this was a letter from Francis White. That's Nick's lawyer, and this was from what is that? July 20th. That was not actually that far long ago, was it? No, sorry, no, June 20th. That was like last month. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? This is over a month ago. To the judge. The correspondence submitted is pursuant to Minnesota, blah, 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 blah. The later rule permits the court to issue an order prohibiting public access to juvenile protection case records that are otherwise accessible in the public upon a finding that an exceptional circumstance exists. The former rule encourages movements to attempt informal resolution in a non-disputive motion, the process of which is initiated by the court. This is a bit hard to read, by the way, because it's just so blurry. The correspondence constitutes notice that father is invoking Rule 115 in joinder to informally resolve his forthcoming motion, and the father something, I'm not sure what this is. Father somethings be fully explained in his forthcoming motion during a teleconference. So this is the one where he pleads the judge to get on the phone, and he does not. And then they send a secondary letter, which is requesting that things be made private, and that was made denied. And this is the one where they say denied, and also this was the wrong statute. This applies to a different one. Oh, I see legal mindset in the chat. Do you want to come on? I have a question for you, actually, in regards to whether this is considered an active criminal investigation. I'll send you a link out, and if you want to jump on, let me know. But if you're busy, that's all cool too. Let me see. Let me see. All right. Very briefly. Yep. It'll be pretty quick. It'll be pretty quick. So we're going to get older. Legal mindset. All right.
Yo, what's up, Josh?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good, good.
Following...
I've only got a couple minutes, but I've been getting sent these in bits and pieces, and I've been kind of reading them as they're delivered. Of course, like you show, I was just popping through your channel, and I saw you had some records up. Of course, unfortunately, Minnesota has like dog shit copiers or something, because we get these like really bad resolution documents that take somebody going through and enhancing them in order to be able to even make them legible, because a lot of times the original copy is frankly almost illegible.
Right. So to boil this down to like a very quick sort of segment, Nick has said that the sorry Kiwi bros, it's not coming out, you've been lied to. Null has accepted money from people and has been promised by Candy Ohio County that they are just uploading it and sending it through. And there seems to be some confusion of it. When I was going through the document myself, what I find is that the biggest, I guess the sticking point here is that, first of all, Nick can request to make this made public. As he is one of the subjects, this is true.
Yeah, he's not going to do that though, and I think he's even said he's not going to do that. Like, there's no, because once again, as much as he swears he cares about transparency, he doesn't care about that when it comes to himself.
Right, but he's also saying that it cannot be made public, and that may be true because, so active criminal investigation body cam data are considered confidential / non-public. So is this perhaps what Nick is saying? That my question is basically, is this stuff that has already been recorded part of an active criminal investigation, or is that now just a part of
Open up
evidence
that
and discovery?
Minnesota statute, because I mean, I think that it arguably could be, because obviously they're still pulling out charges on April, right? So let's pull.
Well, that's a
up
good point, actually. Yeah, because they did bring the charges back for her.
Once again, I'm not a Minnesota attorney. I don't pretend to be. But
this becomes public as soon as it's presented in court.
Correct. Right. So, which is why people say we may not get it till we see what's admissible at court. Right.
Okay.
And they may not give it to us till court. It's possible. Right. Now, we could get it at a hearing. Right. For example, if it's made public at a hearing, like a hearing beforehand, we could get it at that point. That's also possible. So, right. We've only got, like, people getting antsy, but we've only got like a little while to the omnibus hearing. Right.
Yeah. I'm not sure the exact date. It's in August at some point, though, right?
It's in August, right?
Is it early August or late August?
I'd have to look it up. I think chat will know. Chat will know.
Yeah, someone in the chat lets us know. That'd be good.
Like, it's like August, I think 17th or 18th or something like that. But it's in August, so I mean, there's a chance we get some information then at the hearing, right? 20th, maybe.
Yeah, the 20th sounds about right. Could the prosecution present a plea deal that would include making all of this private? Is that in their ability to do so?
I don't think so. No, they can't. They can't go around public records law.
Interesting.
So, like, public records law is like for the benefit of the citizens, for the people. So that's not a benefit that the state can waive, right? Now, if there was something that should be protected, like, for example, the information about the children, right? Yeah, like, that's something they can go out of the way to protect because they have, the interest.
Well, they've already stated that they're going to blow the body. They've already stated that they're blowing all the minors. Yeah.
Correct. I'm just stating, like, something that is valid to exclude, right? So obviously that is valid. I don't think we'll ever get footage that includes the children, right? And even Null said that if he got that, he would blur it, right? Which,
yeah, I'd do that myself, even if that came out.
Yeah, right.
But that's just kind of a made up fantasy that people are saying, like, oh, the Nick detractors, they just want to see the kids.
That's what people that are nose guarding really fucking hard are saying. Like, yeah, because they're stupid and they're not even making legal arguments. They're just making irrational, emotional, defensive arguments, like, which don't make
by
sense.
protection, right?
Yes, and also, yeah, it often is with those people. I mean, a lot of the people talking about the children, I would not trust them around a child. Right.
So Nick has also made one request already to make everything private because he's a person of interest. Could he make this plea to the court again if he does very well in the first hearing? Like, let's say he gets a blowout, like the warrant
I'm sure. Look, Nick can file as many impotent motions as he wants to file, but the court is free to reject them. And I think that at this point, that notion has been blown out of the water, unless there's some sort of debacle that happens, some sort of riot or some sort of incident that happens, right? Let's say there was an incident, right, where there was, thousands upon thousands of people showing up at the courtroom. But even then, the court will probably make provisions for that. Look, Nick, as much as he likes to think it, he's not Johnny Depp, right? And if the court is able to make provisions for actual, celebrities, real celebrities, then I think they can handle a little Nick Rekieta, just saying.
That pretty much answers everything in my mind, really. So my conclusion to all of this is that it will be made available, but it's probably waiting until the first hearing, or at least when it's introduced into the court.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And Natasha did send $2 in saying, gotta send in my girly
simp. The simp. And you're allowed to simp. You're allowed permission to simp. All
righty.
But that's what I got. I got to run, but
that's very helpful. I think we've come to a conclusion that Nick is lying, and it's just a matter of time.
Cool. Yeah. So thanks, and I hope we can hang out when I'm in Japan, John.
Oh yeah, a couple days, right?
A couple days. Yeah.
Watch out for that heat. It's going to be hot. It's going to be 39 tomorrow in Osaka.
You know what's so funny? I was like texting my friend in Japan, and they're like, you need to bring your half pants, and I'm like, half pants. I'm like, yes, so your half pants. Oh, yeah. I'm like, you mean shorts, right? And they're like, yeah, shorts. Yes. Hi.
It's brutal over here. Like it's way hotter than it is in Thailand. Are you in Thailand right now?
Yeah. Right now, yeah. The weather's been fantastic. It's really good because it rains and it cools it down. It's actually really nice, like genuinely nice weather. So I have to run out for a doctor's appointment now, but it just rained, so I expect it to be very cool. But I'm kind of scared of Japan. But all's well.
The place you're going literally just had like a massive news story about it being incredibly hot, and old people are dropping like flies.
Well, I'm
like
not an
every
old
time you hear
person,
the
so
ambulance.
hopefully it'll drop like a fly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
So we allow the heat wave to purge the people. Anyways, that's it. See you, John.
All right. Thanks. All right. That actually is very, very helpful. So I think we've got our conclusion. So Team Null looks like it is a win, which is kind of what I kind of believed going into this. Not a lot of surprises, but maybe it helps clarify the timeline that we'd probably have to wait until the later part of August, which is unfortunate, but there is a potential that it will come out sooner than that. It all just comes down to the court. And, we can't make government work faster. That's just the way they are. And with that, nice and tidy, quick stream. There might be another stream tonight. I'm not sure. Maybe. We'll have to see. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else streaming right now. I don't think so, though, right? Otherwise, I'd stream into them. And if there is no one, then I guess I'll just go have lunch. It is 2:30 over here. Let me see. Nobody that I know is streaming, so I guess that's a no restream on this one. But let me know what topics you would like to have in the future. I want to go back and cover some of the Mr. Beast Chris stuff, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. And there's some other topics I want to do in the week. We might have a gaming stream this week. A very funny game was sent through to me, and I did promise a gaming stream, so there will be one very soon. With that said and done, you still have a chance to like the stream. If you're watching on replay, let me know if you prefer this time or the regular time. And stay safe out there. And peace. Have a good one, lads. Cheers.